Hey, everybody, welcome to our Monday night Zoom call. We're super excited that you took the time to be with us and learn a little bit more about what we do and why we do it. So, I am going to introduce my dear friend Anita, who I have known since, our kids were in kindergarten and our other ones went to preschool together. So, she is a longtime friend of mine from Vancouver. So, Anita, I'd love for you to unmute yourself and share your story with us. Why did Juice Plus make sense to you?
Awesome. Thanks, Candace. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight and watching in the future, recording perhaps. Well, my journey with Juice Plus has been awesome. I'm so grateful for how my life has turned around. And it was a little bit of a slow burn for me, so to speak, because I initially started because Candace offered the products. And I was like, yeah, I will support you. But also, it was perfect timing because all the products I'd been taking before were actually upsetting my stomach. So I was looking, and everything that I've had in the Juice Plus line, I've never had any reaction to anything. And so this was a huge benefit for me because I'd been taking things that were actually doctor prescribed before and they weren't working. So for me, the turnaround time was when I started to really think about the whole food nutrition piece. I'm using Juice Plus as my medicine. I was having frequent headaches and just general fatigue, and I would talk to Candace about it, and she'd say, "Have you tried doubling up?" Or first of all, she said, "Are you taking your Juice Plus consistently?" And I'm like, I think so, but maybe I wasn't so consistent. And she would say, well, try doubling up in those times. And I haven't taken Advil for months, which is very unusual for me. And every cold that's come through the places that I work, I sub in childcare centers, didn't ever bring home because I would just double up, and if I could feel something coming on and have a little rest. And shredding has been awesome. We're on shred right now, and I sleep more, and I just have more energy to face the day. So I try to shred actually in between shreds. So we do a monthly 10-day shred, and I just kind of try to keep it going because it's like, this works for me. So really happy with all the products and happy that my kids are starting to eat better. They're eating fruits and vegetables that they would never have considered before, especially my son, who was a really picky eater. My daughter's always eaten fairly well, but my son was just digging his heels and not eating a lot of things. And so that's made a big difference, and they stay healthier too. So it's been wonderful, and I'm really happy to share it.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Anita.
And so back to you, Candace Walker.
Thank you. Well, my story is a little bit different from Anita in that I come from a fitness background. I have 5 kids and a husband, and I really thought our family was healthy because I was a fitness instructor, gym owner, had all the answers. Well, to be really honest, my family was malnourished. We just weren't eating enough fruits and vegetables. And a friend of mine approached me about Juice Plus, and I was at the time suffering from severe sinus infections to the point of taking antibiotics for 6 months straight, had 3 steroid injections. Nothing was helping me. I was desperate for some kind of relief. She says, "Why don't you try this Juice Plus?" And I was like, what is this? And I bought it, and it sat on my shelf. I didn't take it. The odd time I'd take it, and there's 7 of us in our family, and I bought 1 trio, and 1 kid got gummies. Well, I have 5 kids. So you can imagine I was the one pushing the orders forward. I didn't take it. And it took a health crisis in our family for me to kind of wake up and know that we weren't getting enough nourishment in our house. My kids did eat fruits and vegetables, but they certainly weren't eating 9 to 13 servings of the recommended raw fruits and vegetables every day. I don't do that in a week, and I still don't. I had never ordered a salad in my life in a restaurant until last year. And I'm not kidding you. So like Anita said, Juice Plus ends up changing what your taste buds crave. You crave what you put into your body. So if you're putting good things in, you crave those good things. So yes, my children now are also eating more fruits and vegetables, but so am I. So my little one of my twins, probably had strep in probably 7 times in a year, twice in 6 weeks, had taken antibiotics, and then she was diagnosed with mono 2 weeks later at the age of 7. And that was a big kind of wake up call for me, was what's missing. So we had started taking Juice Plus consistently after her second 6-week round of antibiotics, and we were consistent, and she was supposed to miss 30 days of school. She missed 5. And you cannot tell me that Juice Plus did not do that for her, because we didn't do anything else different. Gradually over time, Juice Plus is not a quick fix. Anything that is a quick fix, you're never going to sustain for the rest of your life. I have more energy now than I did in my 20s. I sleep better. I have less migraines. Happy to say probably in the last 2 years, I've had 1 sinus infection compared to having 1 every 6 months. 6 months straight, I mean. Mia's no longer having strep. Right now in Texas, we are on a high for the flu. None of my children have gotten the flu. Like, it's bad here. James had 6 kids out on Friday, and I think Mia had 5. So that's 11 kids just in 2 classes, and my kids are fine. They might feel a little under the weather, but they recover quicker if they do get anything. I lost my dad to cancer at 21. I think about now, with all the things that I know about whole food nutrition and how it's helped my family bridge the gap of what you're supposed to get into your body. And I think I wish I had known about Juice Plus back then, because I really do believe it would have helped him fight. It would have, given him longer to be around. I mean, I don't claim to cure anything, absolutely not, but I've seen it help people live longer. I've seen it change people's lives, and mine, and my family's, and my family will never be without Juice Plus. Even if, my husband loses his job or I lose mine, I will find a way that my family will take Juice Plus. That's how passionate about it I am. And that's why I share it, because I believe everybody should know what fruits and vegetables can do for you. And really, they can save your life. So I am going to share, my dear friend Kelly Ballard is going to share her story. So she's got a very interesting story to tell as well.
Well, thank you, Candace. Your story never gets old, if that makes sense. I always get goosebumps because I hear words like desperate and passion and answers and focus. And gosh, what I know now versus what I knew about 2 years ago, I'm a little mad at myself and a little baffled. You just don't know what you don't know. I mean, we say that all the time in this community. So to paint a picture for my story, we would need to go about 2 years back. My husband was in the oil field, so he was gone for 2 weeks and home for 2 weeks. It was fine. It was an easy-ish schedule. We have 2 kids, so it's never hard, never fun when he's gone. But he got laid off. When everything hit, he was one of the ones that got laid off. So he's in and out of work, working 2 jobs. My husband is a very hard worker. He would do anything for this family, but it was hard. I mean, he was working all the time. He was working nights. He was never on the same schedule as us. We were always trying to make ends meet. And on top of that, in 1 year, my daughter, Addison, at the time, who was 5, had strep 7 times. 7 times in 1 school year. So much so that they almost considered her having to redo that school year because she had missed so much. And that was horrible for me because, first off, nobody wants to see their baby sick. But she has a condition called erythema multiforme. So anytime a virus is attacking her body, she gets these spots in really the lymph node areas that they spread. They look like the Target symbol. And so they're red and they're itchy for a few days, and then they turn black and she swells. And so by day 3 of being sick, while she's already being pumped with every medicine under the sun and Tylenol and ibuprofen in between it just to make her not be in pain, she might be, non-contagious, but we're at the grocery store and I've got people staring at my little girl because she looks like she's necrotizing. And that was hard to watch as a mom, y'all. I mean, that was the most helpless year of my life. So I've got my daughter who's getting strep all the time, and she has this condition every time a virus attacks her body. I have my, at the time, 12-month-old son, who at that age, they're putting everything in their mouth, right? So he's in and out of the ER with every virus under the sun. I've got my husband who's overworking, not eating well, tired. We're on 2 opposite schedules. I'm pretty much a single mom at this point, raising 2 sick babies and literally throwing my hands up in the air every day wondering, what am I doing? This isn't how it's supposed to be. I know kids get sick. I know there's flu season, there's this season, but this is crap, y'all. And I was stuck. I mean, I was in a dark place as a mom, and I was dying inside because of just my kids being sick all the time, and we were headed down a really dark road. That's the nicest way I can put it. And I remember sitting in the ER one night with my son, and they gave me a tube. It's about this big, and it was, I think, 8 milliliters of ibuprofen and 8 milliliters of Tylenol for a 1-year-old because he had 105 fever. That was all they could do. They gave him that giant shot that he hated, and they told me to take my shirt down and do skin to skin, and we just had to sit there for his fever to go down. And I just remember thinking, this tiny body and all these chemicals, there's no way that this is right. So in all of this, our gymnastics coach is like, hey, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? And I'm like, okay, it's another MLM, Plexus, whatever. I don't have time for that. Like, I'm literally holding my head above water at this point. I want my kids to be safe. I want to sleep. I mean, we all know if mama ain't happy and sleeping, nobody's happy. And, it was not a healthy situation. And so finally one night, I remember they were both coming off of being sick with I don't even know what at that point, and starting to share that sibling love. And my patience level was null at that point. And I remember snapping at my daughter, just something, I don't even remember what it was that they were arguing about. And I lost it, screamed, yelled. I was really tired. And I remember looking at my daughter that night and saying to myself, she doesn't even know why you're screaming at her. You've gotten to that point where you guys are so unhealthy and you don't know what to do, and now you're projecting it on your daughter. And that crushed me. Because in this day and age, I'm sorry, but we got a lot of work to do with the girls in this world and how they believe in themselves. And I remember calling my gymnastics coach that next day and saying, all right, fine, whatever, just give me okay, kids are free, I get to try it too, cool, sign me up. Because at that point, you could have told me to stand on my head and hold my breath for an hour, and I would have done it if it meant that my babies weren't sick anymore, I could get a full night's rest, and my husband could come home to a happy family. That was it. So we said yes. And within weeks, everyone's journey is different. We don't claim anything again. Within weeks, my energy was off the charts. My sleep was better. The kids started coming home and asking for red bell peppers and hummus, carrots, and every vegetable under the sun. And I'm like, whoa, we have goldfish and Fig Newtons in the pantry, right? That's what I thought was an easy snack. But they started asking for whole food. And I started putting 2 and 2 together, and I remember crying about it. I remember thinking, wow, this is working. It worked. And so here we are 2 years later, and we've only had wellness visits. And do we get a little tummy bug or a little sniffle here and there? Yeah, we just recover a lot faster. Here we are 2 years later, and while my husband's job situation has changed for the better, because God is good, my husband is like young and energetic and vibrant again. He's eating better, and he's making better choices little by little. I mean, we all know, no offense, Trevor, men take a little work. You can't just get them to jump on board to the shred or the health train, right? They have their ways, and we love them for them. But I'm getting my husband back, and I got my kids back. And guys, the most important thing was I got me back. See, I was headed down a really dark road where I love being a mom and I love being a wife. Please hear my heart on that, and don't get me wrong. But I was in a really dark corner wondering what my purpose was and if this was it. And so I quickly said yes to the business side, and I'm going to go there, because anyone that hears this call tonight or tomorrow or next week, the bottom line is you'd be really mad at all 6 of us if we didn't tell you about it tonight in about a year. When it hits you, when that moment happens, when that aha moment happens, that you get the science and you get that it's just food. We're not a vitamin, we're food. We're not a Plexus and I shouldn't even say another company, but you know what I mean? We're not this giant company with 50 million products. We're food. And when that aha moment happens, you're going to want to be on board too, because there's moms out there like me that day, that night that I snapped, they need to hear about this. There's dads out there that are trying to make it work without a mom that need to hear about this. There are families out there with senior parents who their lives could change and Alzheimer's might not hit them if they got the gist of the science behind your cells. Because our product hits at a cellular level. It's pre-digested. It goes straight to your bloodstream. That's it. And that's why we ship a 4-month product. For those of you that know, we ship it 4 months at a time because your body regenerates brand new cells every 128 to 30 days. And that's what we're asking you, is for that commitment to give it a chance. Because anything that's worth working is not going to happen in a week. It's not even going to happen in a month. And so why wouldn't I want to say yes to a company? And this company, guys, that's a whole other Zoom. It is just a mission-driven, grace and hope and science-driven company. And why wouldn't I want to share that with everyone I know? For $50, I mean, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
So you go and you share it. And guess what? When you get that phone call from a customer who has a daughter on a kidney transplant list, and she says, this is the first year that she hasn't missed school, you're crying with the tears of joy because you had a part in that decision. And that's the greater good that we're a part of. It's not about making money, although it's residual income. Let me just tell you, it's amazing, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone needs to make money, but I'm saying it is so much deeper than that. We have such a different mission. We have such a different team. And if anyone on this call is interested in the business side, you've got to ask who invited you about it. You're going to want to know about it. Even if it's just to say, no, not right now. You're going to want to know about it, because in a couple of years when you've got that friend or that daughter of a friend, and you think, crap, I should have told them about Juice Plus. You're going to wish you would have said yes. And I say that with a whole heart bluntness. You're going to wish you would have said yes. And that's all I got.
Oh, Miss Kelly, I can never stop listening to your story. It's so good. Yeah, this company, I mean, Kelly and I have just come off of a weekend of, we call it training, the Dallas Summit. And it's funny, the three of us, I've always had a vision from, what this could do for not only my health, but what it could do for my family financially. But what this company does and pours into you as an individual is like nothing I have ever experienced before in my life. Corporate America doesn't do that. There's no ceiling of how much you can earn. And I've always had a vision that, yes, this financially could take some burden off of my husband for sure, because we do have 5 children, which, face it, it's expensive. But this weekend I came home and I know Kelly felt the same because we boxed back and forth about, I was kind of teary-eyed when I walked into my house, because I look at my children and I think, this could keep me home. This job, which we call it spreading joy, because we're saving people's lives. We're changing people's lives. We're taking people off of kidney transplant lists. We're, having kids miss less day of school. We're having cancer patients be able to fight harder and faster and not have side effects. I get to do all of that, but then I look at my little family and I think, this is going to bring me home where I don't have to miss small moments or big moments. And I was pretty teary-eyed this weekend. I got to say that there's no stopping us. There's no stopping us with the team we are on and the company we are with. There's no stopping what you can really want from your life. So I just want to thank you. Oh, go ahead, Kel.
Well, I was going to say, let me just chime in and say, there is no stopping us. This company has been around for almost 50 years. There's not a claim against us. We are, I don't know if you guys know anything, but the health and wellness industry, which is what we're in, we are not a vitamin, we're food. We're in the health and wellness industry, is about to take over pharmaceuticals. I just want you to take that, soak that in for a minute. We're about to take over pharmaceuticals. How many of you people know people that make really good money with pharmaceuticals, but let's be honest, the side effects of drugs are why we're in the situation we're in. And we're about to take over that industry. Are you kidding me? Heck yeah, make me a part of that. I'm in all the way.
Yeah.
Because it's just back to the basics. Back to the basics.
That's one way. That's such a good way of putting it, back to the basics. It's interesting because 100 years ago when our grandparents ate an orange, If you were to eat an orange today, you'd have to eat 6 oranges to get the nutritional value that our grandparents got 100 years ago because of what's in the air, what's in the dirt. It's just, it's crazy to me. So I just want to thank you all for coming and taking the time to hear a little bit more about what we do. I am going to stop this recording. Oh, it's asking me a bunch of questions.